Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 5 of Yokeley, our vanilla Cities Skylines 2 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. A huge shout out to Joe Mercer for the brand new Yokeley logo. He made this off of his own back without me even asking him. It's so cool that the community can just create artwork like that. Absolutely love it. He also made the Rannoch logo for our CS1 vanilla Let's Play too. But a huge shout out to Joe for the great new logo. Let's get some love for him down in the comments of today's episode, please. But welcome back to CS2 vanilla, everyone. I have some jobs I want to do today. I'd like to open up train travel for the first time. As we begin to kind of, essentially what will round out this town in the not too distant future, right? You know, we'll head and start off other towns, which I think is how Yokeley will develop. It will not be an endless sprawling metropolis plagued by PS1 tornadoes, but it will be, I think, a series of separate towns spread across the hills and valleys of the Ithaca map, right? So today I'd like to make sure of this town, which we actually need to name today. So please drop some town suggestion names. I will leave them to be voted for in the comments by you guys. Otherwise, let me know what you think this town should be called, and then we can divide it up into downtown and midtown, etc. Industrial estates, and we can start getting some name suggestions in the comments on that. But we also have some pressing issues in a minute in the form of air pollution, which is going to perfectly tie into what I want to do today. So let's get rid of this air pollution by removing both of our landfill sites here. We no longer need them. Again, just for the record, for those that might be following along with the build, I have left the simulation running again just to accrue some money for the extremely expensive costs that comes with these services. So we will spend another episode introducing trams and buses into the city across the current road network, but for right now I just want tourist trains arriving into the area. So for configuring the rail yard here, I want it to still be kind of snapped and orientated 90 degrees with what's going on here. I also want this road to do that as well, as it kind of emerges from other road structures we've got in the area, because I want to make sure we keep respecting the road hierarchy, of course, as we continue to grow out the town. These main streets continue, so traffic stays healthy. So with these alleyway roads, let's bring this one up. We want to come off the road guideline, of course, so I'm bringing that up, and then let's grab the 4-lane road. And then that can carry on out this way, and then it can join up with the one that comes out the other area. This way, we'll just be able to keep a really nice, aesthetically pleasing road structure as we move through this area here too. And then that can go off to become future important arterial, likely merging in with another interchange of somewhat of the national road that runs through here, and which I think will be upgraded to a couplet at some point, because it will get quite high capacity, that I think. We'll see though. I'll try to keep it as small and discreet as possible. Don't really want big 3-lane highways on this map, you know. So let's bring in the rail yard first of all. And also keep the simulation pools, because we currently have no garbage service. Let's not forget about that. So with the rail yard, let's have a look at this one here. So I'd love the main line to flow through middle here, which we should be able to afford that in terms of land mass. I don't want to do too much terraforming of the rivers. So we can snap it 180 degrees there, which maybe was a little closer to the river than I wanted it, but I don't hate it now I see it. That's the terraform we did. We can bring that stone mine back in now. We just have a new space to fill with it. I'll introduce that in a second. And then let's reinstate the national rail connection. So this will allow tourists to arrive in much greater numbers to the city, and hopefully bring us some more money. Now unfortunately this detail is kind of in the way, isn't it? Which is a bit of a shame. I did really like it here, but the rail yard can't really go further down. So this should make the Grand Earth factory look pretty impressive. It has all these little rail connections running right alongside it. We'll have one down here as well. Let's bring this in just a touch further down, with some nice curvage there as it heads in. Cool. So just visually, the presence of a rail yard is just awesome, isn't it? I really like these bits of infrastructure. And of course the update that now allows trains to be stored here too is massively impactful when they're not in use, right? Vehicle props are a great visual for vanilla, aren't they? Fantastic. Let's give it a road. So this just needs to be, I think, a discreet little alleyway, and we'll get some worker car parking in here as well. Continue this one down. Let's get some of that industrial zoning that we lost regrowing around here too. So production chains don't fall too far behind. We are still making decent money as well. We're up to 61,000 an hour now. And with current tax rates, because I know people are always interested. And this is what we're running. Everything else is 11, 8 and 7, and it seems to be working. Services are Still alright, we're still underfunding some stuff. We can probably boost some road budgets again. Now we have been having quite a few car crashes actually. So now we have that in, let's also bring in the second asset I wanted to include today, which is the recycling centre. I'm sorry, that budget is also reflective of not having any garbage service, by the way. This is obviously about to change. So I'm really interested to play with a bit of orientation between these two. How much do you cost to relocate? 165 grand, damn it, okay. So let's only do that once then. So I think in terms of orientation of the recycling centre against the train yard, I want the vehicles to essentially be near each other, right? So let's have, that was pretty aligned to me, doesn't it? You can pretty much judge it by eye, just by lining up the collision meshes. Let's go there. Right, very nice. We can draw these textures out, of course. Although, will you extend into the rail yard or will you collide? You will extend, wonderful. So we can bear that in mind and work with some blending of this, because that's a bit of a harsh transition for me, but surfaces will fix it. And then with that layer, let's make sure our city has access to the garbage. We'll just slope this up now and gradually blend all these layers back in. Now let's also add some complementary connections in there as well. Looks like we can possibly get a little fuse node if cities will play happy with us. Yes, it will. Wonderful, fantastic. Superb. And then we've got plenty of real estate around this asset if we want to add upgrades to further help the garbage capacity. That should help us much better with garbage processing now. The vanilla landfills are really quite poor. They fill very easily and don't give you much capacity at all. And getting recycling centres is definitely the better way to go. So the air pollution should clear off gradually as the landfills are no longer here. You can see their road pollution radiuses, they will fade away now. So in terms of placing the train station, we do have a number of options available to us. I am very tempted with the modern architecture central train station, which is very, very nice, but I think it's a bit grandiose for here. Maybe we can upgrade it down the line, but I think for right now, it's just a bit too much, right? We'll build a larger town around this, although this is going to be one of the larger towns anyway. But I think the second best option is going to be actually the Eastern European central train station, which is quite nice. It's a bit of an old-fashioned one, which I like. Got a bit of history to it. And then, like we did with the rail yard, let's just snap this straight onto the line, which it has the snapping now. God, that's so good. How I wish CS1 Vanilla had that. That's so nice. You can just bend it onto the road like that. Onto the track, sorry. I love it. And then let's just curve these back in. Right, where they also make sense. Can we split it? The crossroads there? I think we can. Do we like that? Does that make it extra dangerous? It probably does, doesn't it? But it's alright. There's lights. They should be okay. Super. And then let's give this a really nice road up out front. I wouldn't mind doing some fun things with the road here, actually, if we can. Why don't we do just the actual road on the car park side, and then here we'll move over to pedestrian street. And let's just have that go all the way to the end, giving access to these little gardens that are on the side of the station. And then we can have a fun little one-way flow system right into the entrance of the station. I think that'll work quite nicely. So let's have that go up there. I'm not really bothered about whole grids around here. We'll be doing a lot of detailing rather than zoning this space, I imagine. And then let's bring this road down and send it into that junction, which should be very busy, but it's cool. I really like this junction that we're forming here. Let's do some little detailing around here as well. Let's kind of spice up this area, which will continue to be in the realm of medium density, I think. I also want to sort this block out here as well. This apartments are quite out of place here now. We'll sort them today. Let's just draw in some concrete in this little triangle we've got. It's not an exact triangle, is it? Triangle with curves. The geometry police will be in the comments to let us know, I'm sure. And let's go into parks. Let's grab one of these little Chinese statues, actually. Maybe the contemporary arch, if we can squeeze it in. Bit of a feature here. Definitely some kiosks here too. Definitely the sort of place you imagine workers kind of stopping by on their way into the station, right? Grabbing a paper, grabbing a meal deal. Perhaps that's a good point, actually. Let me know what your favourite meal deal is down in the comments. It'd be quite interesting to see probably some pretty horrific opinions as well. Someone walking out with like ready salted and tuna with no butter or something, right? Some horrific deal. Cool. So just a little bit of a point of interest there, right? Bit of a contemporary art space. How impressive is that stadium, right? That's such a landmark for the town. I really like that. Super, you can even see it. Oh yes, that's a happy accident. That's so nice. Oh my word. That's the first sort of yes please sightline of the city, I think, isn't it? That is fantastic. I love that you can see Central Station down Main Street there. Easily the best bit of the series, that. It's all downhill from now, everyone. Special. Let's get this hooked in, and then what we will do is send some trains to outside connections. We can hopefully begin to see some tourists arrive and start to use the trains that we've just placed. So if you don't know, Cities Skylines 2, you must draw your own outside connections. So what I am going to do here is offer you guys the opportunity to name our outside connections. So our trains will travel to your city. So let me know what your city is called, and I will just choose something random so trains can depart Yokeley to your town, okay? So we'll start here. I'll tell you what, actually, let's send this on a through route. So we'll start in Auburn. You will stop here on your way through. And then you will go out to there. You will then return, stopping here. Now with this platform next door, we'll have that running to other towns, right? This can just be our outside connection platform. And there it goes. That gives us one train line. What I do like to do in Cities Skylines, I wasn't very good at it in Edinburgh, but by naming your train lines, you keep on top of them. So I'm going to call this outside connection. The town to be named, which you guys also need to leave name suggestions for down below too. And then back to the outside connection again. So I'll change that once it's done. And that's going to assign, was it doing 4 trains to that, I think? Which seems quite a lot actually, isn't it? There. Does it only hold 10, the train yard? It does indeed. But we can add extensions and whatnot. Cool. So that's the first one. Fantastic. Obviously there'll be nobody on them yet. But hopefully with time, I will. So I'm going to de-zone these apartments here. All of these I want to go now, because this is probably going to fall into the realm of low density of the stuff that's already around here. And I think I'm going to reform the road structure a little bit around this as well. Just want to bring some roads down on 90 degrees here. Not here, we'll save that one. And almost run in there as well. This will start to give us some different angles at play here as the roads converge at different grid formations, which I actually quite like. Don't just keep it strictly, you know, kind of rigid like this all the time. You get some nicer angles in here. So this train station's getting quite a lot of use after we let the simulation run. Post installing the train lines. Look at this. That's wonderful. This is definitely been fixed in a patch. CS2 lacked this scurry when it first came out, but it's nice to see it. I know the city's still young, but we can see. Oh, what are you waiting for? Carry on. There he goes. Let's watch some people board. This is why we're all here, isn't it? I expected maybe a few more to get off, and of course they are still just walking over the tracks, but that's fine. No, no problem. Wonderful. And we could even extend the surface out here as well, you know, perhaps down to a small lakefront. Why don't we explore that possibility, right? So let's bring in 2 new nodes that are level with the ones currently adjacent to the stairs. And that'll allow us to bring that up, right? And then let's just send that down toward the coast. And let's add in another one. And then we can perhaps expand this into a bit of a plaza here. A bit of a wider park area. Definitely want lots of green belt around this train station here, I think, as we develop this bit of the city today. Now, in terms of what we're going to put around the station, I want lots of signature buildings if possible. Let's grab the Sunshine Hotel, which is obviously a hotel, a signature commercial building. I'm going to place this right on this corner here, right? Somewhere for all these tourists to come and stay in the hotel. And then I think with what else around here, I think because we've got the Eastern European train station, why don't we complement with some education in the form of the Eastern European High School, which we're very nearly in need of, and also elementary today too. And then see if we can complement the 2 Eastern European assets here. As again, on first glance, when you're walking by here, right, you definitely don't think that's a school. It just looks like a regular sort of mid-density office block, doesn't it? Or some sort of council building. Certainly see this on like a UK high street even. Right, PS1 tornado's back. Oh god, it's hitting the city, is it? Oh, it's destroying my mall. Oh no. Oh no. PS1 tornado strikes everyone. It's destroyed everything. Tragedy. It's very loud, isn't it? Of course. Tornado is famously for deafening almost. Let's check out some of the wreckage. Destroyed by bad weather. You could probably call that bad weather, couldn't you? It probably qualifies. It was a gloriously sunny day though for a tornado, isn't it? It has to be said. But that's okay though. It's going to destroy quite a lot of the city here, it would seem. Do we have any disaster response in the city? I don't think we do we? So in terms of recovery, when we come here, it says a disaster response unit is unavailable up in the top left. So let's see. If we can't find a disaster response unit to help the poor folks trapped under the rubble. So I guess we're going to need to find an upgrade with this. First of all, this is going to be a good point to grab the fire stations unlock. Let's do that. And then we only have one in the city at the minute, do we? No, two. We probably do need a little bit more, actually. Definitely need disaster response unit. The current Japanese one doesn't have an upgrade for it, does it? No, just next to engine capacity. So we want a fire station, all of which, of course, we cannot afford. So the French firehouse mentions that it can be upgraded with rapid response garage. I'm not sure if that's the right unit. There are some specifically, like the vanilla one, that mention a disaster response unit. Not sure if that's going to be the same thing. Let's place this one somewhere over here, then we'll partner it with older, more European style buildings then. Well, that's going to sit very nicely, isn't it, next door to the station, actually? Imagine almost it's there as association, couldn't you? Related to the rail house in some way. So with the upgrade for that, do we have it? And we're getting hit by another one. Just as we start to fix the other one. Fantastic, wonderful. Well, that can continue to destroy the work. As we'll carry on with what's going on over here. I don't think that does qualify the upgrade, but I'm still happy to have the French firehouse there regardless. I'm going to draw up some parking roads and then position myself accordingly. So let's have something like that. I want this big parking frontage right up against the rail here. And then just a one-way alley to tuck this into a nearby junction will be fine. Definitely love a pathway through here as well. Let's do a road straight through the middle there. And then hook that into train stations. Create those pedestrian crossings where we want them as well. Fantastic. And then just want lots of workspace around here really. So commercial as and when it comes in. Let's keep a mix of both going on. And we'll have office space here as well. I want to reclaim that zoning off of the road onto my parking road, so just a quick road to reposition. Throw it in, and then we can do it. Sooner the zoning adjuster comes back, the better, really, mate. In regards to the front of the station, I think we can certainly see this happening, can't we? Let's bring that texture all the way down there. We could possibly even scope to delete the pedestrian path in front there, you know. I'm not sure if they'd walk that though. We'll run with a bit of a design though, so let's just sketch this out. But just a little something like that, I think, you know, just to tidy up the area. It's much more important to the front of the station there, doesn't it? Opens up that plaza. This thing is where CS2 vanilla really shines, doesn't it? Couldn't do this in CS1 in vanilla, absolutely not. So, really like that. Super happy with it. And then also done some inside tree line on the park too, which I really like. Let's continue to get lots more jobs around here. I want lots more low density office, especially up and down this main street of very different sizes. Happy for all this bit of southwest in there too, maybe, in those smaller spots. Southwest office is quite small, only goes about 4 deep, I think, doesn't it? Yeah. All down this main street. Lots of work around here, right? Jobs, employment, services. We need elementary education as well, don't we? So let's get that in as well. I think we'll go with the urban one. Like this one here, which is from Urban Promenades, by the way, which is one of the content creator packs you can get on Instant Gaming, which helps support the channel. Links are below. And I think in around here, right, it's probably a little bit of a clash with the Eastern European one, but I can deal with that. I think actually we'll bring some road networks around this Eastern European building. Snapping into that grid network there. And that's open to Bad Junction. We need to do the traffic lights down here as well, don't we? Pretty much all of them off. There we go. Keep the couplet flowing. We want to give way to the arterial in this instance. We'll probably do a roundabout here as well, I reckon. Let's do that before we get too comfortable with what's going on. Although, of course, it's overlapping. Oh, we're at the tile boundary, aren't we? It's okay. I don't want to open up new tile boundaries yet. We still have space to fill here. I do want to keep it slow paced. I don't want to start opening up massive swaths of map that we have to fill. I'm going to bring in some more of these parking roads here too. Feeding them down, and then we can bring in more office around here. We're also due a bit more post as well, so why don't we get a new post office down here? We use the Eastern European one, why we're within the theme, right? If we're having lots of older buildings around here. And how about medical too? We're still alright for medical, just the crematorium availability is beginning to suffer. Do we want to possibly add the upgrade then? That is processing speed. Or spaces for hearses. We can't empty the church, can we? Once it's full, it's full. Is that how it works, is it? It must be. And then we also need some elementary as well, which I think I'm going to go with the southwest elementary over here. As we kind of fall back into suburbia. And speaking of, let's do some apartments over here. I would like a bit of a crawl up the density as we ascend in this direction, right? So I think we'll have low density in these areas. So let's get that zoning in. Remember, these are the blocks I'm looking to specific zone here. That's why we've laid them out like we have. Just going to try arrange 4 deep housing really across the board. And then with these blocks over here, I'd like to address some medium density. So let's grab some 2-lane roads with parking. I'm going to draw that all the way down with the parking road, which looks a little bit much at the minute, but we will fix them up. And the same down here again too. And I'm going to grab that normal road and let's send that right up through the middle. Pretty easy to maintain whole grids around here. And then going to chuck in some southwest apartments in these blocks too. Which should really help create a bit more of a condo vibe, I think. Having them built around these parking lot roads. So we'll get them growing up, and this will give us a bit of a transitional height jump here as well, and start to see the occasional taller building. We do actually have some flooding here, which is a shame because that won't ever go away. So it's just the water settling as the map has been left to run for a long time. It's an annoying problem CS2 maps face, especially custom ones. The water level increases gradually over time. To a certain extent, it does stop eventually, of course. But it has left this road a little bit flooded, which is unfortunate. They don't care. So I guess we could just treat it as a wet road. I guess it's nice to see some different texture. But yeah, slightly irritating that. We actually need the capacity upgrade for this as well, so I'm going to add that straight on. That should put us just about in the green. How are we doing for funding on the education? I'm going to bump that to 90% now. And that should see us back into the green a little bit. We could even use the bookshop in here as well, which looks quite cool, doesn't it? And if we can fit this into this little block here, maybe if we give it a little bit of room to breathe, perhaps something like that. And then we can really use the textures now to just extend whatever little awkward space it doesn't manage to fill by itself. Super. So this will really let these unique buildings shine. Let's stick in some perhaps adult trees. And these little spaces here if it'll fit. Come on, CS2. Don't let me down, no. What was the sweet spot there? And then we'll do the same there too. Maybe a little flower bush. Neither of the corners. Yeah, that's pretty great, right? Love that. That's pretty mad for vanilla, actually. I really like how that looks. That's a great little corner there, isn't it? Some nice assets grown in here as well. Yeah, we'll have some details to do around here, I imagine, won't we? We certainly will. I've had nothing grow in there. Do you want to replace that with a bit of an office zone then? There we go. Yeah, because when we take this, you know, this is all broken, and when we can do this with it, we can make it look significantly more believable, right? Just with the concrete space flowing into each other, so it looks like a authentic back alley. I really love the sight line of the train station, I have to say. I know we've already fawned about that, but it's definitely one of the key sight lines of this town now, isn't it? Really sweet. I wouldn't mind some larger style apartments around here as well. Let's try some Southwest apartment stuff, see what grows in. I wouldn't even mind some lower rent European housing as well. I'm going to zone it in and almost see if we can repurpose it alongside our older style buildings here, you know, on this kind of older street. I think so. I might even add this to be 4-lane divided, you know. I think I just want that bit of importance down. Let's do it there, and then we'll highlight that grass median with the trees, and then leave the other two divided sections just concrete. I think it creates a bit more a sense of importance in the road hierarchy there, doesn't it? Passing by the train station. I really like that. But otherwise, I think we're at a pretty good place for a detailing time-lapse now we got our train infrastructure in. I just wanted to fill in the rest of the frames around here with this sort of stuff, condo blocks and low density, just outer-lying suburbia like we have between our two sort of major town districts over here, right? We have our centre we did last episode. And we got this little centre over here now as well, so the same sort of vibe, just that crawl up to it. And then lots of detailing, there's lots of little corners around here to detail with surfaces and props that we have done so far. Otherwise, let's do some detailing, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, but otherwise that'll do it for today. A really fun little train centre, and kind of another town centre build with. There's lots of office and apartments over this way. The pathway behind the train station with the extended textures actually functions as people using both sides of the station here, which is absolutely great. And the little detailed green space turned out exactly how I imagined it, with the football fields and the parking and sort of the leisure venues and events and whatnot. It's a really fun little space behind the station there. Lots of little detailing tucked in again behind the buildings on the couplet, with really nice traffic flow around this part of the city now. It has to be said, Cities 2 Vanilla has actually turned out to be incredibly enjoyable. I'm loving just kind of seeing exactly what's possible now, and turns out quite a lot, especially the front of the train station. Something like that in CS1 Vanilla, for example, is pretty much impossible. So really cool to just see that functionality embedded in the vanilla experience these days. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that support these videos, with a roll call to our Golden Egg patrons: Andrew Perez, Ant Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Darius, Lara Roberts, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix MD, Spartan Angel, and Wesley Kip. Thank you so much indeed for all that support. If you want to get involved, links down below to Patreon, Instant Gaming, best ways to get a little bit more egg in your diet if you wish. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.